What's going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Mikasa Sukasa. As usual, I am your host, Niko House. I wanted to bring you a special report. For some, if you are a Republican or if you're on the side that is hoping that Donald Trump and the Republicans win the 2020 and 2020 elections for Donald Trump and then 2018s for the midterms for the Republicans, then you are probably going to be excited about what I have to tell you. Now, if you are a Democrat, the information I'm going to give you, you should probably use to regroup and re-strategize because it's not looking good for you all. It really isn't. And we've been talking about this really since the end of 2016. Hell, even the beginning of 2016. We constantly told Hillary Clinton that if she does not start focusing on substantive policies, on the issues that are affecting everyday working class Americans, then she and the Democrats will lose 2016 and they will continue to lose going forward. Offering more of the same is simply not enough anymore. And that's something that they need to understand. Not only is that something that this isn't just my opinion. I mean, we can just look at the polls that were recently released. They were taken on March 20th. Now, this poll was conducted by a combination of the efforts of Anderson Robbins Research, Shaw Company Research, and then it was also conducted by Braun Research. Now, they asked Democrats registered and Republicans who are registered who they will be or how they feel about the Republicans and Donald Trump, and if they approve of the measures they've taken on the economy, taxation, amongst a plethora of other issues. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go into all the details about all the different issues, but the three most important ones that I find are the ones that Donald Trump ran on and that the Republicans have been pushing because he ran on them. The economy, taxation, and job creation. This is where the bad news starts. This is where the bad news starts if you're a Democrat. As of March 2018, 45% of the people interviewed in that poll said that they believe that Donald Trump is overall doing a great job or a good job. I don't want to say great. Only about half thought that he was strongly succeeding in his venture as president, but at least 45% say that they do approve of the direction that he has the country going in. Here's where it gets a little bit dicey. 51% of the Democrats and Republicans asked said that they approve of the direction of the economy under Donald Trump. 48% say that they approve of the tax plan that Donald Trump and the Republicans put through. And then 45% also agreed that when it comes to job creation, Trump has done a pretty damn good job. Whether or not you agree with that in this particular conversation, don't get me wrong, we can debate whether or not he should be given credit for that and the Republican Party should be given credit for that. That's a different debate for a different day. But what you're not understanding is that that's all irrelevant for the 2018 midterms. As we know, politics is a dirty and ugly game. And it doesn't matter what you did. What matters is when you're trying to win an election, what you get credit for. And right now, Trump and the Republicans are getting credit for everything. This is after they plummeted, right? They plummeted at the end of 2017. And then jumped up even after the Women's March, which is pretty much an anti-Trump rally. After the March for Our Lives, which was essentially a rally to blame Republicans for every arms issue in the country or any gun issue in the country. And despite the efforts of the Democratic Party to create these, I call them vanity projects. Like I consider, and I know it sounds really harsh, but I consider both the Women's March and the March for Our Lives in the context of the Democratic Party, I consider them vanity projects. Why? Because they could have taken a lot of the effort that they use to facilitate those marches. They could have taken the money that they used to facilitate those marches and actually got things done. They could have actually been using that energy and effort to advocate for specific policies. But the problem is, on policies that Trump is actually hawkish on, or his staff or administration is hawkish on, the Democrats, as we've seen with their vote against pulling support away from Saudi Arabia and its attacks on Yemen, they like his hawkish behavior because the donors of both parties are paying both of them to approve of hawkish legislation and hawkish policies. But when they have their time to shine, right? Like what we saw with Cory Booker when he failed to vote yes on the legislation, which would have allowed cheaper pharmaceuticals to be imported into the nation. Whenever Tulsi Gabbard introduced the legislation where they would vote where we would stop. She literally called it Stop Funding Terrorism Act. They voted against it. The Democrats did. She also introduced legislation that talked about paper ballot backups for electoral reform, which is a huge hot button issue right now. The Democrats failed to get behind Tulsi Gabbard on that. Do you see the pattern that we have emerging? The Republicans are passing legislation. Whether or not you like the legislation is irrelevant. That's not what we're talking about right now. But instead of poking holes or tearing apart the policies and actually analyzing how it's hurt people, they haven't actually done that at all. They've been focusing on identity politics. And the Republicans have convinced the general public that they have kept all their campaign promises, minus a few, while the Democrats have alienated more of their demographic than they have in 2016. They keep demonizing anyone who doesn't agree with them holistically. They get in front of a camera and you can tell how disingenuous they are. And if the pattern keeps up, it looks like they're going to lose 2018 in 2020. In the midterm elections, people, Republicans pretty much always win. There's a few reasons why, but the long story short is the reality of it is that Republicans turn out more during the midterms, despite the fact that Democrats make up a majority of the registered voters in the nation. Now, once again, what does that mean for you? It means that if the approval rating is close to 50% for any president, and you combine that with the fact that Republicans tend to dominate midterm elections, and you combine that with the fact that nobody even knows what platform the Democrats are going to run on, because Republicans can simply run on, we're going to continue doing what we're doing because you all approve of it. Funny enough, the Democrats kind of have somewhat of the right idea by running on gun reform. The problem is, though, a lot of the rhetoric that, at least what it sounds like, is that a lot of that rhetoric is saying that they want to try to get rid of guns, which is not okay. I'm not against repealing. I'm not for repealing the Second Amendment. I'm just not. But the Republicans actually are weak on gun reform, considering that even the most of the country says that they only have a 30% approval rating on gun control. But the problem is that's not going to be the issue that decides whether or not you win the election. The economy, the jobs, those are two issues that you have not introduced any substantive solutions for. If I'm telling you, if the Democrats do not get it together, that's it for them. And the Republicans, for the first time in modern history, will be set on the path to control the House, the Senate, the judiciary, and the executive branch all at once. Because Democrats simply refuse to listen to their constituency. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you donate to our One Follow $1 campaign on Patreon to support the show and the network. Make sure you visit www.mcscnetwork.com for more political updates, news updates, and sports updates as well. And always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.